up guys, it's Maria. Thank you all so much for coming back to my channel. As you may have seen by the title, today's video is going to be me talking about my 5-sauce experience. So in October of 2015, 5 Seconds of Summer announced that they were going on their Sounds Live Feels Live tour, and they announced that they were coming to my state. Like I've said before, nobody ever comes to my state, so this was really cool. So at that time, they also released tickets. So we had gotten soundcheck tickets. So this is the longest concert I've ever had to wait for. I literally had to wait like a year for this show because tickets went on sale October of 2015 and the concert wasn't until September of 2016. So it was pretty much a year that we had to wait for this show. So fast forward to the day of the concert. I get there and I'm the first of my friends to get there. It's me, my friend Michelle, and my other friend Leslie. I get there first and I'm pretty far in the back, not too far. The line starts moving and then that's when Michelle and Leslie get there. We get our lanyards and our tickets and our wristbands and we go inside the venue. So we get inside the venue and we have to wait in this other line for sound check. So we're waiting in this line and it's probably like 30 minutes into waiting in this line. All of a sudden we hear screaming. And of course me and Leslie and Michelle, we start freaking out because we don't know why people are screaming. But then we see Hey Violet coming down with chairs and instruments and they sit down right in front of us and they get out all their instruments and everybody runs towards them, makes a group around them, and they start playing some songs for us. They started playing some songs for us. It was really cool. It was like our own little acoustic set. It was really nice because I didn't know that they would go out and perform a little acoustic set for people waiting in the sound check line. So I thought that was really cool. So Hey Violet is done with their set and they leave, and then we're waiting another couple of 30 minutes, I guess. An hour to an hour and 30 minutes was what we were waiting in that line. So they finally let us in and we're going in and we take our seats and we get a pretty good spot. We get a pretty good view of the stage. We're third row, like at the end of the row, closest to the stage. This lady comes out and she's like, okay, here's how this is gonna go down. I'm going to go around to everybody and I'm going to ask you what your question is going to be. If you get to ask a question to the band, I'm going to ask you what your question is, and if I like it, then I'm going to hand you this foam finger. And it was like a foam finger shaped like this. And she's like, if you get the foam finger, you get to ask a question. So I'm going to go around and ask you what you're going to ask the band. The lady eventually comes around to us and I have my hand raised because she tells everybody to raise their hand. I have my hand raised and she comes to where we are and she is talking to this girl that's literally right in front of me. I still have my hand raised, not knowing what I'm going to ask, but I just know that I'm not going to miss the chance to ask them a question. So I have my hand raised, she's done talking to this girl and she just leaves. And she goes towards the back and she completely skips us. And we were like, what the heck? Like, we didn't even get a chance. But it was fine. Like, we're still here. It's okay. We got into sound check. We don't get to ask a question, but it's fine. So finally, the band comes out and they play a song first, I think. I don't really remember it because they didn't let us record. They wanted sound check to be really intimate. So they said no phones out. If you get your phone out, we're going to escort you out. So we were like, no way, we are not risking getting our phones out and getting kicked out. They played a song and then they sat down and the lady handed the microphone to whoever had the foam finger. The girl was asking her question, and while she was asking her question, Ashton was looking at us. He was looking directly at us. So we were, of course, freaking out because he was looking at us. We didn't know why, but, you know, he was just staring at us. So we were freaking out, and he kind of makes this face like, what? Like, why is everybody freaking out? Like, I don't understand. I wonder why. So we're freaking out and he's making this face like he doesn't know why we're freaking out. And then he puts his fist out and he goes like this, like a little fist. It was lower, but camera view. He goes like this and we start freaking out even more. We're like, what is this guy doing? So he does that and we start freaking out even more. And at this point, we're screaming and like we're really loud. Like we're being really loud at this point. So like the whole band was just looking at us and we were just, ooh, we were freaking out. We didn't know what to do. And then finally Ashton like stops and then we calm down. And then it starts to sprinkle a little. So I go and I get my sweater and I start putting on my sweater. I stand up so I don't hit anybody. I stand up to put on my sweater and like the whole band just like stares and looks at me. I'm like, ooh, just putting on my sweater, like please don't stare at me. And they all turn and to look at me because I'm the only one standing up. I put on my sweater and I sit back down and then everybody looks away and they answer this girl's question. The sprinkle turns into drizzle and then it turns into a downpour of rain. It starts pouring. The band obviously notices this, so they go back and they try and, they're putting on their instruments. And the head security, he's like, no, we can't perform another song for them. We have to go. But I thought it was really cute because, they went back and they were getting ready to perform another song, but they told them they couldn't. So they go back and they escort us out of where we're sitting. And they're like, okay, everybody just go and take shelter. Wherever there's shelter, there's bars. There's people serving alcohol, Since it's pouring, they have to let us in. They have to let us take shelter. We go under this gazebo where this bar is and we're just under there. And we're like figuring out like when this stops, like we're going to have to get back into line, but we're going to be, in the back. So we try and figure out how we can, be closer to the front of the line when they start letting us back in. So we're like, let's go into this other bar. So this bar is like a little party club thing. You have to have a pass to get in there, like it's gated and everything. But they have to let us in because there's shelter. So we go into there and they have a big gazebo and they have chairs and tables and stuff. So we go and we chill there. Finally, the rain stops. They're about to let us out. So everybody just rushes towards the gates. The security are like, calm down. Like we need everybody to stay calm. We need everybody to get into a straight line and to be calm. Obviously nobody's calm because everybody wants to get out now that the rain has stopped. So nobody is calm. But finally they let us out and everybody's pushing and shoving and it was just like the scariest thing I have ever experienced. But we finally get out. We all get out and we notice that there's already a line. So we're pissed. We're like, we should have stayed in the other bar that we were in. Like we should have never left. And it was a really long line and we were not about to go to the back of that line. So we cut kind of in the middle towards the front of the line. Nobody sees us, nobody says anything, and then everybody's like, okay, get in a straight line or nobody's going in. So we have to get in a straight line. We stay there, like nobody tells us anything. So they let us back into sound check and they tell us that they're only going to be able to come out and perform one song. So we're like, of course, we got our sound check cut short, but it's alright, at least they're coming out to play one more song. They come out and they play one more song and then they leave and the people come out and they tell us, they're like, okay, you guys can roam around, do whatever you want, you just can't leave because there's no re-entry. So we go and at this time we met these two really nice girls in line. We all go and get donuts. And then when we're done with our donuts, we go our separate ways and we go to our seats. Me and Leslie, we had gotten our seats together, but Michelle had got a separate seat because she bought her ticket after me and Leslie did. Michelle had her own seat, but it was closer than our seats. So the night before, I had looked on Ticketmaster. I found these 2 seats that were close to the front. They were like third row seats. So I was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go sit in the 2 seats that I found, and then Leslie and Michelle are gonna go sit in Michelle's row. I'm gonna save the seats that I found, and hopefully nobody goes and sits there, but if they do, then I'll just move. And if nobody sits there, then we can all go down there and just try and squeeze into these 2 seats. So I go and I sit there, and Roy English comes out and he starts performing. All of a sudden, this lady comes up to me and she's like, "Excuse me, is this seat whatever seat it was?" And I was like, oh yeah, sorry. So I scoot into the next seat. The security was with her because she needed help finding her seat. So there was a security guard with her, and he was like, "Let me see your ticket." I was like, oh shit, this isn't good. So there's another seat open. There was 3 seats open. There was another seat open next to the one I was sitting in, and I had my bag there. So he's like, "Let me see your ticket." I reach into my bag, and as I'm reaching into my bag, I look at Michelle and I'm like, dude, like, what do I do? Like, we're freaking out. We just like give each other this look like this is bad. I get my ticket out and I give it to him. He's like, he's like, "Get up." I was like, oh shit, like, that's it. I'm not gonna see 5 Sauce perform. I get up and he's like, "Follow me." So I follow him. He's like, he takes me to the row that I'm supposed to be sitting in. He's like, "This is your row. If I see you in another seat, I'm gonna kick you out." And I was like, "Okay, sir, like, like, you will not see me in another seat." Wink, wink. Obviously, I don't know how to wink. But yeah, I was like, "No, yeah, yeah, you won't see me in another seat." So I go in and I sit down in my original seat, and then I look at Michelle, and she's like, "Come over here." And I'm like, "He's gonna see me." And she's like, "Just come here when he's not looking." So I wait till he's not looking. I wait till none of the security are looking. And I right away go down to where she's sitting. She's like, "Dude, we almost thought you were gonna get kicked out." And I was like, I almost thought I was gonna get kicked out too. Like, it was so scary. At this time, it's Michelle and Leslie's on the other side of Michelle. There's an open seat, you know, right by Michelle. She's in the middle. So she's like, "Here, sit down. Like, nobody's came and claimed these seats, so like, sit down. Hopefully nobody comes." So I sit there, and at this point, I'm still trying to hide my face from the security because I definitely don't want him to see me sitting in this spot. I'm trying to hide my face. Roy English is done performing, so we're just sitting and chilling. And then Hey Violet comes out, and I'm still trying to hide my face. I'm like, I can't let the security see me. So I'm like hiding behind Michelle, and I'm trying to cover my face, like hiding behind other people that are standing. So, you know, so far nobody has come and claimed these seats, so we're pretty good right now. Then this girl comes into the row, and she sits in the seat next to mine. And I'm like, oh, thank God, like, thank God this isn't her seat. So I tell Michelle, I'm like, what if we just tell her our plan? Like, what if we tell her that if someone claims this seat, we're just gonna scoot over? And she's like, yeah, just tell her so she knows. So I go and I tell her, and I'm like, you know, we're not supposed to be sitting here, so if somebody like comes and takes one of our seats, we're gonna try and like scoot. And she's like, oh, that's fine, like, I don't care. And we're like, okay, like, thank God. So Hey Violet's performing, and at this time, you know, people are usually already all supposed to be in their seats because 5 Sauce are about to come on. Right now we're like, okay, I don't think anybody's gonna come and take these seats, so I think we're fine. Hey Violet's done performing, and we're waiting for 5 Sauce to come out. Nobody has claimed the seats, and then 5 Sauce come out and they're performing. At this point, we're like, nobody is definitely going to be sitting in these seats. So we calm down now, and we're enjoying ourselves listening to 5 Sauce, and they sound really good live. Like, they sound just like if you were hearing them through your phone or wherever. Like, they sound so good. So they're performing, they play a bunch of songs, and then they start to play Jet Black Heart. Michael's the only one that comes out. He comes out by himself with his guitar. He comes out and everybody is just screaming and, you know, making a lot of noise, and he is just listening to the crowd. He's listening, he's smiling, and then he goes to play. He starts playing a little, and everybody starts screaming again. Well, we're all screaming throughout the whole thing. So everybody's screaming, making a lot of noise. Like, it's a lot of noise. So he stops playing and he's listening again. And then, you know, we're still screaming. And then everybody starts chanting his name. Everybody's like, Michael, Michael. So he takes his earpieces out and he's listening, and that makes everybody go even more crazier. So he takes his earpieces out and he's like shaking his head and he's really enjoying it. He puts his earpieces back in, and you know, this is happening for like, I don't even know how long. He takes his earpieces back off and he kind of like wipes his eye, and we're like, oh my god, like he's crying, and it was just so adorable. And then finally he starts playing. I know there's a video out there of this. I'm going to try and put it in the description. I'm going to try to put a link to it. So if you want to see that, go check it out. Hopefully I can find it. If I do, it'll be in the description. So go check it out. But it was really cool. Like, they sounded so good live. If you ever get the chance, you know, go see Five Sauce live. They do not disappoint. And definitely go see Roy English and Hey Violet. They were so good too. And yeah, we ended up staying in those seats the whole night, and it was a really good view, and we just had a really good time besides almost getting kicked out. It was definitely fun, you know, besides almost getting kicked out. So that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you've seen Five Sauce live or you like Five Sauce. You know, comment anything you want. Don't forget to subscribe right here, and don't forget to watch last week's video right here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Peace.